My dear brothers and sisters, a young man who was to get married in a month's time phoned to the printer. He said, I'm Neely, says, I have given my cards, wedding cards for printing. And the printer said, I know, yes, I know. He said, there are cards will be printed soon, they'll be dispatched to you. Oh, any changes to be done? He asked him. And Neil said, yes, there are a lot of changes to be done. Okay, let me know what are the changes. He said, first the date has to be changed. Then he told him the new date. Any more? He said, yes, the venue, the place has also to be changed. Get a new venue. Anything else? The printer asked him. And he said, yes, the bride's name. Does it happen today? Before the wedding, you call the printer and say, please change the details. Does it? The young man made a new choice. What went wrong? None of us know. He made a choice. Readings of today speak about choices, making a choice, good choice after deliberation. In the first reading, we heard about Joshua putting before the 12 tribes of Israel who were gathered there. They included everybody, the teachers, the lawyers, they were gathered there. And he gave them a choice. The choice was to worship Yahweh or to worship the gods of the Amorites and others. And he reminded them of the covenant God made with Abraham long back. And the Israelites began to reflect what went about the past history, how God had saved them when they were in slavery in Egypt and brought them, doing miracles and miracles. So they recall the history of the past, and based on that, they make a choice. And what is their choice? We will serve Yahweh and Him alone. Did Joshua believe that? Yes and no. Looking back at the history of the covenant Yahweh made with Abraham and others, with Aaron and everyone, and how every time the Jews broke it, he was sure that in the course of the centuries, they too will break it. They will forget Yahweh and worship other gods. We also made a covenant at baptism, didn't we? Or rather, our parents made for us. We were too small. We were just 45 days, 40 days, could be. And when they brought the church, when the priest asked, do you reject Satan? And he said, yes. Do you believe in Christ? And yes. Yes, it is true. But do we still have in our homes idols? We may not have their statues in our homes, but we have our own idols whom we worship. All of us have. And what are those? Pride, selfishness, acquiring wealth, and all these other vices. Do we worship them? Of course, we would like to acquire in this world a lot of wealth. For whom? I don't know. We would like to have a status and we want people to appreciate what we do. And so it's good time and then to reflect and see in our own life. We said yes to God. Are we gone away from that yes by worshipping or acquiring this? The same thought goes on in the second reading. You heard about reading St. Paul. And many of you who are married here will recall to mind that this reading is taken for the weddings, right? Many of us take it. It speaks about the covenant the man and woman makes with the altar. Covenant of fidelity. Why is this so? Because when God created man, he was alone, feeling lonely. And for him, he gave a partner in life, and they both made a covenant. And this covenant which they make of fidelity all lifelong is reflected in the church itself. Christ made a covenant with the church to be with the church all life through. It's time to reflect also our families. How am I living the covenant of fidelity to my partner? And the same thought goes in the gospel passage, making a choice. The gospel you read is the last part of the gospels of the chapter 6 of St. John. Our last 4 Sundays we're reflecting on every bit of it. Now we come to a climax. Seems to be empty climax, one side. Why empty climax? Because the disciples, or many of them, hundreds of them whom we had fed with manna, bread, when they were hungry, when he told them, you want to live life eternal, you must eat my flesh and drink my blood. They said, we are not cannibals. He did not mean that you should eat physically my body and blood. So they were all still on the earth level, not on a different level. So when they heard this doctrine of Jesus about eating this body and blood, they all make a choice and go away. And who's left behind? The 12 disciples, apostles. And he gave them a choice. What about you? You also want to go away with them? And the reply is, to whom shall we go? You are the Holy One of God. So they make a choice there to follow Christ till the end. What does it mean to make a choice? When we, at the Eucharist, when we receive Christ, what happens there? He and I become one. The consequence should be, his thoughts should be my thoughts. His feelings should be my feelings. His desires should be my desires. How the Christ went out to those who were in need, we too are called. Today, as we know, is Prison Ministry Sunday. You will get a request of the communion to give. There are boxes here in front of us to help those engaged in ministry. It's just not a financial help, also spiritual help. Therefore, now, as we reflect on this choice, we made a choice, and we are living the choice. Maybe time to reflect, do I have Christ's thoughts? Do I have his feelings? Do I have his emotion? Do I have his desires? Am I willing to walk the path that he walked, the path to the cross? The path, as he walked the path, he had a lot of enemies, and still his focus was there, the cross. So today, on this Sunday, the theme is making choices. Let's look into our own life and see, we made a choice, a number of choices, after a lot of consideration. Are we faithful to that cross fully?